What's up, y'all? You know, E3 is pretty much over with, or at least Xbox show is over with, which is the show, of course, I was most anxious to see. And I just wanted to get into it. I didn't want to waste you guys' time. I want to get right into it. The show started off with Starfield. Ty Howard walked on stage, and they showed the in-engine trailer for Starfield. And I gotta be honest, I was expecting them to show actual gameplay, but the in-engine trailer looked amazing. And they came out with a release date. They said 11/11/22. But the thing that I like the most is Xbox exclusive. Because it's crazy to me that even after the Xbox Bethesda show a couple months ago, when PhilSpencer said Bethesda games are going to be exclusive, people still, for some reason, would think that Starfield was going to be maybe a timed exclusive for Xbox. It would eventually come to PS5 later. But as you guys see, Starfield is exclusive. Deal with it. So next up, they showed Stalker 2. Stalker 2 looks great. They actually showed gameplay. Game looked absolutely amazing. It's definitely a Metro type of game. I don't know if Metro stole some things from Stalker, but the game looks amazing. Supposedly come out in April of 2022 and day one in Game Pass. Next up, Back 4 Blood, which is made from, by the people that made Left 4 Dead. 4-player co-op looks great. Game Pass day one. Release date October 12th, 2021. Looks great. Looks great. Next up is a game called Contraband, which is made by Avalanche Studio, which is, of course, the people that made Mad Max. They made the Just Cause franchise, Rage 2. They're a pretty decent developer, and they're really good at open world games. So Contraband is supposed to be an open world game, but this is another game that's supposed to come out in 2022 and day one in Game Pass. And Avalanche is one of those studios that was rumored to be like one of Xbox's next acquisitions. There's a rumor. Next up, they showed Sea of Thieves. At first, I was like, oh, damn it, why are they showing Sea of Thieves again? But they actually had a damn good little showing for Sea of Thieves with the whole Pirates of the Caribbean tie-in with Jack Sparrow. And so I thought that was pretty cool. I'm still not a Sea of Thieves fan, but I thought that was pretty cool. And that comes out, hell, I think next week. Next up, they announced how Yakuza Like a Dragon is on Game Pass. Game Pass is the shit, by the way. Battlefield 6 was next, and man, that game looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. Man, the sandstorms, just the action, it looks like a damn war. And Battlefield 6 comes out 10/22 this year, October 22nd. It's not in Game Pass. Well, it hasn't been announced in Game Pass yet, but who knows? Maybe later, but maybe not. But the game looks incredible. 12 Minutes was the next game they showed, and 12 Minutes is a game that I can't wait to play. Has a release date for August 19th. Also in Game Pass, day and date. Next up, Psychonauts 2. Of course, this is made by Double Fine, which is an Xbox first-party studio. And their game is set to release August 25th. Now, this game is not exclusive. It's also on the PS4. It's not on the PS5. Of course, you can play it on the PS5 via backwards compatibility. But, yeah, that's also day and date Game Pass. Next up, Bethesda's Pete Hines came on stage, talked about Fallout 76, Elder Scrolls Online, and all of that stuff. So they're still supporting those games. Then a game called Party Animals, and I said, oh shit, this is Xbox Bug Snack. But the game looks kind of cool. You know, it looks cool. The animals was, I don't know what the hell the animals was doing, shaking their ass, twerking. I don't know what the animals were doing, but it looked funny. Not my cup of tea, though. Next up is Hades, which was a game that was nominated for Game of the Year last year. I never played it, never even seen the game before. But it's going Game Pass August 13th. So guess what I'll do? I'm going to try it. All right. Next up is a game called Somerville, which is a Game Pass day and date release. It looks very interesting. It seems to be an indie, but the game looks interesting. I think this is made by some people that made Inside. I don't think it's the same studio, but maybe a few people from Inside made this game. Don't quote me on that, though. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I thought I heard. But it looks good. Next up, of course, Halo Infinite. Let me say this. Halo Infinite looked absolutely incredible. Now the campaign footage, some people say it was CGI, which I believe it was a cutscene. I believe that scene was from the campaign, and it probably was a cutscene. Maybe they had some gameplay they cut. I don't know. So I'm not saying that's how the game is going to look, but it looked incredible. That cutscene looked incredible, and the multiplayer. The multiplayer. That was some Halo shit right there. So Halo looked good, and yeah, it looked damn good. So I'm happy about that. Next up, they showed Diablo 2. Not really my cup of tea, but that game comes out September 23rd, 21. It's a remaster. They called it Resurrection or something. So it's Diablo 2 remaster, pretty much. Now, this next thing is a game that I would have been hyped for if it didn't leak the day before. A Plague's Tale Requiem, which is A Plague's Tale 2, which is one of the most overlooked games last generation. That game was absolutely amazing. I believe A Plague's Tale is in Gamepass. Guys, check that game out. Please, check it out. So part 2 looks incredible. It's going to Gamepass day 1, and it's set to drop next year, 2022. Now, that game is a multi-plat, but like I said, it's going to Game Pass day 1, which is cool. Next up is Far Cry 6. Looking forward to Far Cry 6. I'm a fan of the franchise. So that comes out October 7th. It looked great. After that, they show Slime Rancher 2. Not my thing, but it is going to Game Pass in 2022. Next up is a snowboarding game called Shredders. I thought the game looked pretty good. It comes out December 2021, and it's set to drop in Game Pass day and date. Next game is Atomic Heart. I've heard something about this game before, that you kind of didn't see anything about it, but yeah, that game looks dope. It's a first-person shooter. It looks pretty damn good, and that's set to drop in Game Pass in 2022, I believe. Next up is a game called Replaced. Now, when we first saw it, we thought it was The Last Night. The Last Light. What's the name of that indie game, The Last Light, whatever that was showed some years ago? We heard nothing about it since. Replace looked dope as hell. It looked really good. And that's set to drop in Game Pass day and date next year. So definitely looking forward to Replace. Then they showed a couple of smaller games. They showed Grounded, which I don't think Grounded should have been at this show, but I get it. Then Among Us is a game I want to try. Then they showed this JRPG called Eiyuden Chronicle, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce that shit, but that's also a Game Pass day and date drop. Then they showed the game The Ascent that comes out July 29th. And that's dropping in Game Pass day 1, and that game looks pretty damn good. I'm definitely interested in that game. Then they show Age of Empire 4, which is not my thing. It's a PC-only game, but I guess it has a pretty good following. It's a very popular franchise for PC players, and that's dropping in Game Pass October 28th. But it is only on PC, so who gives a shit? Oh! No, I'm just talking shit. Next up is now this game was actually a surprise. The Outer Worlds 2. I enjoyed Outer Worlds 1, so Outer Worlds 2 is great to see that's coming. And this time is going to be exclusive to Xbox. The first one, of course, was a multi-plat, but this one will be Xbox exclusive. And that's going to be in Game Pass, but I don't know, maybe that's set to drop next year. I don't know. They didn't really say when, but I'm assuming maybe 2023. But it was great to see that game being shown off. Next up was Flight Sim. Yo, that shit looks beautiful. And that's set to drop next month, July 27th, of course, in Game Pass day 1. Forza Horizon 5. Oh my God. I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and this game is no exception. It looked amazing. Forza Horizon 5 is set to release November 9th, and of course, that's in Game Pass. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. Then our boy PhilSpencer came on stage. He was saying some things about all of the games they announced, and then he announced Redfall, which is, of course, Project Omen. We heard the rumor about Arcane Austin was doing a vampire game, and they showed CGI cutscene. It was about an 8-minute CGI cutscene. It looked good. The cutscene looked pretty good. The trailer, I should say, looked pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely a vampire game. But I thought that you were going to be a vampire, but you're fighting vampires, which is fine with me. So yeah, it's a 4-player co-op game. Arcane does great games. I love their games. Most likely it's going to be first person because it's an Arcane game. All of their games are first person. But yeah, that game is set to release summer of 2022. Gamepass day one. And most importantly, PhilSpencer said this himself. This game, as well as Starfield, will be exclusive. Okay? Exclusive. So, yeah, that game looks dope. And my overall thoughts on the show, man, it was a fantastic show. I get a show like a 8.5. The only negative for me was Starfield not having gameplay. The pacing was incredible. I thought it wasn't much talking. Halo looked great. It was a great show. And they focused on 2021 and 2022. That's what this show was focused on. All of these games that's set to release this year. The big games set to release next year, whether it's Starfield, Redfall. You know, they have some great games, man. And Contraband is set to release next year. So yeah, damn good show from Xbox. And that's what we wanted. We wanted them to show things. And if you think about this, guys, Xbox show focused on 21 and 22. 2021, 2022. So think about all of the other shit they already announced. Fable, Perfect Dark, Hellblade 2. You know, all of these games they announced, man. State of Decay 3, Avowed. I'm thinking those games are 2023 and beyond. That's why they didn't show those games this year. But let's just think about this. We don't know what Compulsion's doing yet. We don't know what the Coalition's doing yet. We're hearing about these other studio acquisitions that's going to happen. Now, this show, like guys like Jeff Grubb and you know, some Jez Corden, those guys pretty much nailed things that was going to be on the show. Now, some of the guys say they might announce the studio acquisition, but obviously they didn't. But I'm thinking guys like Jez Corden, Jeff Grubb, and those guys, those studio acquisition rumors, I think they're going to be true. Because some of the guys were saying they was expecting the Avalanche acquisition announcement yesterday. And like I said, they obviously didn't announce that. But we are in June and the rest of the year, next year. So if Xbox announced those other studios, and IO Interactive could be a possibility. They're, like, we know they're making a James Bond game, but they're also making an Xbox game with that dragon emoji, right? Oh, man. And I don't even want to talk about the NetherRealm and Rocksteady rumors. I don't even want to talk about that shit. Because if those are true, oh my God. We're hearing the Crytek rumor. Man, I don't know what's going on, but Xbox is absolutely killing it. And yesterday's show was great. Kudos to Xbox. Hold on, Okay. Kudos to Xbox. Kudos to PhilSpencer. All of those guys. They put on a great show. And I'm excited, man. It's funny because you're seeing all of the positive reviews in the community. All of the guys like, oh, this is a great show. Xbox with a great show. Xbox is doing this. Xbox is doing that. It was a great show, man. Somebody making noise upstairs. But anyway, so at the end of the day, kudos to Xbox. And I'm happy and I'm proud about being an Xbox fan. And I can't wait to see what else they show the rest of the year, next year, and everything else, man. And the whole Xbox has no games narrative thing, I think you guys need to go ahead and kill it. Just go ahead and kill it. It was funny seeing people still hate on the show, but you know, that's what they do. And like I mentioned, I did a video last week. I don't give a shit about what those guys say. Me and myself on my podcast, I need to stop paying attention to what they're saying in the chat. I'm just going to ignore those guys because they're going to hate no matter what. No matter what. And Xbox had a quality show today, and the rest of the year is looking very good. And I can't wait, man. Next year is going to be bananas. And like I already mentioned, don't talk about 2023, 2024. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you happen to stumble upon my channel, you think I'm decent enough, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? And if you subscribe, hit that notification bell to know when my black ass is doing some new content, baby. All right, everybody. Peace and love. Peace and love. Shit. Damn, man.